Hey, hello, hi, welcome to the AudioStage Podcast, episode number 9. My name is Dan Graham, and today I'm on my own. Marcus is sick. He's come down with some sort of excuse, is what I like to call it. He's got some sort of sick bug. He wasn't able to record with us. And to be honest, I don't want to get ill either, so it's better that way, I think. This week we're going to just do a recap episode. We're going to look at a few of the old episodes that we did. Granted, there's only 8 of them, but still, there was some relevant content in there. Stress and music, youth and music, what's your worth, some decent things to listen to. We're just going to play a few snippets of them throughout this podcast as episode number 9. Next week we'll have Graham on, who's our videographer. We'll be talking about videography and recording bands and in that sort of environment. So if you're kind of interested in that sort of thing, that's probably one to listen for, and that'll be next Sunday. Which, to note, podcast will now be on a Sunday instead of a Thursday. We decided to do that just so there was something at the weekend, for sort of audio stage wise, because up until now the weekends were there was always a gap between things happening. So Sundays will now be the day for the podcasts. So next Sunday you'll get the next podcast, and that'll be the videography one with Graham, and hopefully Marcus is back on his feet and with us again. So now we're just going to play a few snippets from the previous 8 episodes. Enjoy, and we'll see you in the next one.
They're putting babies in lamps, making them grow extra arms. They're making them play all the instruments at once. This is the way the music industry's going, man. Hillary Clinton, she's into weird stuff, man.
I wouldn't say I'm any sort of expert on the music industry. I'm maybe even more of a consumer than anything. I mean, I play instruments, studied music at college, and all that jazz. But I'm probably nowadays closer to a consumer, so from the outside in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still playing in bands, still gigging, still, it'd be great if your band was to make a decent amount of money based on the current industry and that. So from that aspect, I guess you're more on the side of a band trying to do something in the industry, where I'm not so much anymore and more, yes, do musical stuff, but not so much in that aspect. So on your thoughts of it, I mean, how do you see it currently? What are the issues? What are your?
I think a lot of the issues really is that the music industry aren't really willing to take risks anymore. They used to, I mean, this is way back in the day, they used to actually take risk on artists and actually be interested in trying to push new music. Yeah. Whereas now, I mean, the other week I just saw that Rick Astley has got a new album coming out. Yeah. And I was like, he wasn't even good the first time around.
So what's he doing now?
So what are they doing now? Yeah. But I think because obviously, his popularity on the internet and things, they're going, oh, well, maybe we can make some money on him here. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, he's famous for basically a Rick roll, which is just like trolling your mates. That's it. That's all he's famous for.
Speaking of old Ricky,
as I
call him,
old Ricky, good mate, yours,
Rick. When I went to see Foo Fighters, it was last year, at O2. He came on stage with them. Oh right. And they did like a rock version. Good? No. They did a rock version of his song. Yeah. The one song he's only ever done. Give You Up. Yeah.
Never Want to Give You Up.
Yeah. There's like a heavy version of that, and then he started off. Which is great.
To be honest, he's only got one song. I think that's really what he should stick to.
No more than that.
Yeah, just only ever will do one song. Yeah.
But I mean,
Top of the Pops.
Forgetting old Ricky.
I think
that's an example of like someone that's already kind of,
they're expired basically. They're well past their best, and I don't even think they ever had a best. The music industry seems to want to put more money into them, and it's really sad.
But I think a lot of that is down to like the whole meme generation, and having that there, people will buy that new album just based on the Rick Roll thing.
Oh, do you remember that meme? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's it really. People will listen to it because of the comedy value, which I mean, I don't know. That's probably not his objective. He doesn't want to be a comedy
but he's fallen into
it definitely. And I think that's the problem, is that they're putting money into things like that, which really, I mean, leaves not a lot of money for other artists, you know, and people trying to make something in the industry and going, well, we're doing credible music here, there are some amazing bands. I mean, we're just, you know, just looking at some of the ones that we're putting on, you know, and like thinking, wow, these guys should actually be making some decent money out of this.
I mean, if you listen to, I mean, obviously we're going to promote the artists that are on, that's the whole point of this, but if you look at Kelly, the first artist that we've got on, I mean, the 3 tracks that she did for us, obviously she's got a lot more, and her songs are actually completely different, like band-wise, to what she played for us. Yeah. But they're all like really good songs, and I was actually listening back to the videos earlier and thinking, what would these be like if they were being played on mainstream?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I can't help but think that they would be loved.
And they'd be so successful, and people would love them. Yeah, absolutely.
And same goes for a lot of the other artists that we've had on, if not all of them. If I'm honest.
I'll be honest, yeah.
Youth in music. And sort of like the importance of learning an instrument.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of importance of learning an instrument at a young age. Not saying that, you know, if you're older and you don't play an instrument that you can't, but just from the fact that we both started when we were young and how that affected us in terms of, well, I assume so.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You were definitely young when you started an instrument, surely.
No.
Go on then.
I picked up a guitar when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah.
That's still young. I thought it was much before that.
So it was interesting because when I left school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I basically went, right, I'm going to do the first diploma at college. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I was like, I just decided, I was like, right, I'm going to do music. So I picked up a guitar, started learning the guitar in that summer.
Right.
Yep. Started learning guitar that summer.
And I joined a fucking band with you.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That doesn't bode well for me because I started when I was 12 and you're a better guitarist than me by a long way.
Well...
And that's why I switched to bass.
Yeah. No, it was just kind of, I got obsessive about it. I practiced like 9 or 10 hours a day.
Yeah, see, I wasn't doing that. I mean, I was in bands, and I had other mates that played instruments as well. Mitch Ramsey from Voices from Fuselage. Yeah. We lived in the same village, and we played in bands and played guitar together and stuff like that. So I was doing all of that, but I wasn't like, it wasn't like a religious thing. Like,
no.
I wasn't there. It's like I was really interested in it, but I was dividing up my time with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But never like I've never been one for doing like multiple hours a day. Like it'd be like half hour.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where the difference probably.
That was it. I just kind of like did so much within such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
That was like obsessive.
That's impressive though. I didn't know that. No. I thought you started about the same age as me.
Wasn't even interested
because Johnny, who we went to college with, and our drummer in college, I think he started around 11 or 12.
Oh, he started young. Yeah, he was. I think he was actually doing some pretty good gigs at like 14, 15 years old. He was.
Yeah, because he did with that Greg or whatever his name was.
Gregory Colson.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So, okay, so youth in music.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it in terms of like from a because there's a lot that goes sort of around nowadays, like with young people sort of out on the streets and causing problems, and also not really knowing what to do, and
no direction. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess there obviously are people still learning instruments and still, but there seems to be more people like just hanging around doing nothing than there was when I was like 13, 14, and that's only been like 12 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm 27 next month, so it's not that long a stretch since I was sort of learning guitar and sort of out and about and stuff. But it just seems that nowadays there's more young people just doing nothing,
hanging about.
Yeah,
there is. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I think that it's a bit of an issue, really. I think that when you give a kid, I suppose, purpose and put an instrument in their hands, and say to them, we're going to do performances and going to do all these sorts of things, then they kind of take to it and they start to develop discipline, and they go, right, this is what I'm going to do, basically, and rather than just hanging around and doing nothing, they feel like they have a sense of purpose.
Yeah, it's also the sense of achievement as well. Once if you you learn something on whatever instrument you're doing, or even singing and rapping, like that is that achievement side of things.
Yeah.
Which I think really sort of people like to achieve things.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you get a sense of well-being, a sense of fulfillment.
I mean, I certainly did. I always, I found it cool when I could do something different on the guitar, and you saw your progression, you saw yourself getting better, and then you're able to meet like-minded people, and then you get together with them, and you start creating music, and
exactly,
sort of go from there. I don't know what the actual title of this is yet, but doing things for free in music, but within I guess within anything, but I guess more within the creative realms of things. So like the benefits of doing something for free, when you should do something for free, when you shouldn't do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think there's you get a lot of people saying you never do anything for free. You should always be paid for your work, and to some extent that's true.
Yeah,
because you are working and you are giving something.
You should be paid what you're worth. However,
but you can't forever, especially at the beginning, you can't go in saying it costs this much, because it's not realistic, or you're maybe not worth that, so you need to do some free stuff, or you might need to get content together, so you can't be always expected to be
absolutely
that. And then also, what I suppose we'll touch on AudioStage and the fact that we're doing this for free,
the
for
whole
bands.
thing for free.
So what's the benefit there, I guess? But we'll get on that as a sort of last closing point.
Yeah,
so what are your thoughts on... Let's stick with music, but I suppose the points will be relative for everything else.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line on doing stuff for free and not? What's your take on it?
Generally, I mean, I'm not a sort of person who would do things because a venue has told me that, say for instance, there's a great exposure and all these sorts of things, and you're sort of sitting there going, well, actually it's not about exposure for us. It depends what sort of band you are as well, because you could be the sort of band that goes, right, I want to do covers, I want to do or I want to do like original music.
Yeah.
And actually for original music, exposure is really important, whereas for covers bands, it's not at all.
No.
So it's all defining really where you're coming from and what your kind of, I suppose, mission statement is. And it's interesting because we talk about this a lot, like having a vision and an image for where you want to go with a band is not a negative thing, and it doesn't detract from your creativity and actually how you are as how you are as a musician. You can still be creative and actually go, but yes, this is the goal that I want to have. I want to play such and such festival next year. We want to release an EP. I've been in bands before where it's like, well, you think too far ahead. You're thinking about the end goal, and I'm going, I'm really not. I'm actually just thinking about how do we get out there and play better gigs. And it was I found myself like banging my head off a brick wall. Doing that, and I think that having that sort of like idea and mission statement in your mind of saying, right, where do I want to go with this?
Well, because you don't want to get stuck at a point where you're like, what's next? I've done that now. What do I do now?
Yeah, and I've done that before many times with bands, and
because all you're doing is you're creating that, how people say like that creative block, that comes naturally. You're almost doing that
absolutely
on purpose by not having a bit of a structure and a bit of a plan.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, that's really important to define when you do things for free. And I think that eventually, when you turn around and you go, actually, I want to do this band because I love playing this type of music. Fine, but that comes under yes, but that's not a goal. That's not a type of I don't know something that you can define why you do that music for. It's you might love doing it, but why do you go into a rehearsal room every week? Like, do you want people to listen to that music? If not, then just continue to go into the rehearsal room and play, like for your own enjoyment. That's fine. But when people start to go like, well, I want to do this because I want to play this festival. I want this recognition for what I'm doing. I think what I'm doing is really good. That's when you start to define and you go, well, what do I now do to get me to that point? And that's where it comes around kind of full circle to this. Yeah, we go, well, actually, you have to do this for free. Like, Reading and Leeds Festival aren't going to pay you to play the BBC introducing stage.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and you can't turn around and go, well, that festival's not paying me.
Yeah.
But it's worth your while to get there, just to network with other musicians. Just to be able to say, well, I played Reading Festival. Yeah. To put that then onto your band, biography or whatever. And then people go, actually, let's take these guys seriously. The industry seems to be. So, like, every other venue then goes, you must be worth your salt.
Yeah.
And it is sometimes there is that level of exposure, but then at the same time there's a level of like I've been approached by venues in the past where it's like, oh yeah, we're doing a summer barbecue, and there's going to be 500 people here, and I'm like, great, so that means you're going to make a lot of money on the bar. So what are you paying us? And they're like, oh, well, it's an exposure thing. There's going to be 500 people listening to your band.
That's the problem. It's where it benefits the band or it benefits the, say, venue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's where you judge it. If you can see that it benefits the band, then it might be worth your time doing it for free if that's all that's been offered. But if someone comes to you saying basically all they need is a band to play their function, and then they go on about exposure.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
where you say no.
I run a venue, and I'm sort of like I'm of the mind where I'm like, well, if I had 500 people in my pub, all buy a drink each. Yeah. And you say like the average price of a pint is about £4.
Yeah.
You're making £2,000 straight away on the bar.
Yeah.
Like straight away, just from 500 people.
And that's one drink.
One drink. Yeah. And the average person who goes to an event like that is probably, you will average it out. Some people might drink 10 pints. Some people might only drink 2.
Yeah.
But, you're looking at sort of like 4 or 5 pints per person. Mm-hmm. You're making serious money that night, And then not only that, but, if they're in the party mood, they'll get shots and all these sort of things. And that you're actually something that's contributing to the that party, that atmosphere. And they're going, well, there's live music, so I'm going to stay. Yeah.
More reason for them to buy more drinks, buy more crisps, get blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And put more money into their till. So I'm going, well, if you can't afford, if you're thinking that, you're going to have 500 people here, well, you can afford to pay the band a good amount of money, because that your bottom line is going to be massively, like, it's going to be huge.
Yeah. But I think that people that don't do that either don't appreciate, not just up and coming bands, but music as a whole. They're literally is all they're thinking about is the profit they're going to make, and having a free band is not going to eat into the money that they make on that night.
Do you know what? I had it happen to me twice as well, and with the same band, and she came and approached us twice with the same proposal, both years in a row. Mm-hmm. And I basically, my first response was, I can't believe really you have the audacity to approach us about that, considering the fact that you're going to make so much money and you want a band to then give your punters entertainment. And I was like, well, so we're going to pay us, and this is how much we're being paid. And I was like, if you can't afford it, then you can't have the band. Yeah. And she was like, oh well. And then she then contacted me back and said, oh well, I've booked this person. Yeah. And I was like, well, I didn't even need to know that actually, but irrelevant. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, well, I wish him the best of luck. Yeah. And he was just an acoustic artist, and she'd approached a full band before that, that was going to play, 2.5 hours worth of material. And then, she turned around and went, oh, I've booked this acoustic artist.
I think we should just have a little honourable mention to old Graham.
Old Graham.
Well, I say old Graham, but he's younger than us.
He's quite young, actually.
Yeah. We started working with Graham, who's our videographer. we started working with him series 2, didn't we? Start series 2.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And he's just such a talented videographer.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, the thing is, like before, like we had a different camera person, and I was doing it alongside.
Yeah.
And because I've got a photography background, so I was doing it based on that. So I'm kind of like lining things up in that way.
Yeah.
And it was okay, and it worked. But then when we got Graham in, who he studied it, he's been doing it for a number of years.
Yeah.
And then it's different. It's different. I didn't think there was going to be that big a difference between how you line up a shot for photography and how you line it up for video. But every time he's come in, every week that we've worked with him, with all the artists, he just knows what to do.
Exactly.
Whether it's a single artist, an interview, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
that's the thing about him. He knows what he is doing. He knows what he's talking about, and he's done it, tried and tested, and he's continuing to. And the good thing about him as well is continuing to improve as well, which I've noticed is that every time he comes in and he gets more and more involved with what we're doing. And actually he's starting to go, right, okay, so if you do this, I'm going to do this, and
that's what I wanted anyway, because at the end of the day, anyone that we get on board and anyone that wants to work with us, we're getting them on board because they're obviously going to be better at what we're getting them in for than what we are.
Exactly.
So we want those ideas. We want to come in and say, right, I think this needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it works out for the better, because he's come in and said to me, oh, should we put this here, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, that looks great.
Do it, yeah.
Thank you, Graham, for doing Series 2 with us, sticking around for Series 3, and hopefully
absolutely
carrying on with us. Because obviously, at the minute, as people know if they don't, we don't earn anything.
No, we don't.
This is a completely...
It's a labour of love.
Yeah, absolutely. And, no doubt eventually some sort of income will come, whether that's from endorsements or sponsorships or anything like that, and that will be to support the company. But it's at the minute we're doing this because we want to do it. We love to do it, and we want to sort of help change how the music industry is, and to have people on board that feel the same, that don't mind working evenings and late to make this happen.
Definitely, yeah.
And with any luck, everyone will benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think in the long
musicians term, and everything else, it's
in the long term, it's I think if it does start to make money, it's a job for life in a sense, because the thing is, well, working with people who are also equally passionate about what you're trying to achieve means that we're all going to be in something that will hopefully continue to make changes in the music industry and bring the talent back out.
100%. It's more than just doing it for fun, and this is for a bigger cause.
Yeah, we don't want that's the thing, we don't want the music industry to continue to be dominated by record labels.
No, which is.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, if we shove this down your throat, you're going to like it. It's like, well, that's not the way it works.
No.
Actually, you should be giving people a great cross-section of music and trying to make it accessible to people and investing in those people, because there's a hell of a lot of talent out there. But if their face doesn't fit, then unfortunately you can't get out there, which is a very bad way of running the music industry.
Okay, thank you for listening to episode number 9 of the AudioStage Podcast. Had to be in a recap episode this week, just with Marcus being ill and not being able to get Graham in at the same time. So next week, hopefully, that'll be a bit more interesting. I hope you enjoyed this episode nonetheless. If you want to find out more about AudioStage, you can visit us on all relevant social platforms, /AudioStage UK. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Alternatively, you can go to our website, which is www.audiostage.co.uk. Until then, I shall see you in the next one.